this particular case, we're going to be utilizing a temporary crown on tooth number 18. So you'd go to your direct crown tooth chart and you would choose the appropriate tooth that fits this particular prepared tooth. In this case, it is coming from the tooth chart, it's tooth number 13. You would take it, go to the mouth, try it in, have the patient close down, making sure you can get the patient into maximum intercuspation. If you can't, what you're going to do is trim the polycarbonate crown shell and take it so that it's adapted, shorter on the walls, wider if you need more room on the interproximal, but you're going to cut the tab off from that particular temporary crown shell to be able to make it fit passively onto the tooth. All right, once we've trimmed and removed the tab from this temporary crown shell, what we do is go back to the patient's mouth and verify that we can get full seating in maximum intercuspation. And at this point is the time that you have to decide whether you're going to use the Bis Acryl technique or the acrylic technique. For this particular demonstration, I'm going to be showing the Bis Acryl technique. In order to attach the Bis Acryl to this polycarbonate shell, what you have to do is use a Bis Acryl varnish. So what we'll do is take a varnish from a manufacturer. Generally, we've been seeing people using Sultan or Stern Gold's material. But what you'll do is take and add the varnish to the internal aspects of the crown shell and make sure that you cover every surface that you want to have the Bis Acryl material stick to. This is a surface activating material, and it is also light cured. So what we'll do is get it coated thoroughly, and once we have that coated, we'll go ahead and cure it for 30 seconds. You want to use a real nice, strong curing light. All right, after curing it for 30 seconds, what we're going to be doing is adding the Bis Acryl material to the internal aspect of the crown shell. And I'm going to put a little bit of extra Bis Acryl outside so I can test how it's setting. And then load the temporary crown shell with the Bis Acryl. And you'll go back to the patient's mouth, orienting it in the proper buccolingual dimension, getting it seated fully to place, have the patient close into maximum intercuspation. You can go ahead at that point and do a little bit of removal of some excess Bis Acryl if you'd like to make finishing a little easier. And you can see it's already starting to get a little bit of a gel point set to it. Now the reason I took the Bis Acryl and put it onto the back of my glove is twofold. First of all, I can start to see that it's getting into a rubbery stage, which tells me that I can remove it once it gets to that rubbery stage. The second is to let me know when it reaches its full set. So we're letting it get it set, and we'll try it on and off a few times. Testing it once again. It's getting fairly firm. You want to make sure that you're not locking into the undercuts. That's part of the reason you're trying this on and off when it's in this rubbery stage, because if you get locked into the undercuts when this thing fully polymerizes, it may be very difficult to get it off. So just like when you're making any temporary in a patient's mouth, you want to pay attention to that interproximal undercuts. Once the line temporary crown shell has set completely, we'll remove it from the tooth. We can see that we have very good adaptation, and we'll take this back to the lab and remove the excesses, get the contours trimmed back to the margins, and go to delivering the temporary restoration. When you return from the lab with the finished and polished restoration, you try it back into the patient's mouth. making sure that all of your margins are nicely adapted. Your interproximal contacts are fine. Check the bite, make sure that you can get into full maximum intercuspation, and you would now cement it to place with a good temporary cement.